Assalamualaikum. I'm Muhammad Saif Bejulastri from DID 4A. On behalf of Cross-Cultural Management, I will present to you about tips of negotiation in Japanese business culture. First, Japan is a more relationship-oriented culture than Australia, particularly when it comes to doing businesses. The Japanese want to know and trust someone before they do business with them. Relationships are developed through informal social gatherings and generally involve a considerable amount of eating and drinking. Like I said, I'm going to show you how do Japanese people do business in their country, and before that I'm going to jump to the facts about Japanese culture that most of us didn't know. Facts about Japan is capital of Japan is Tokyo, and their main religion is Shinto, Buddhism, Christianity. Their currency is in Japanese yen, and kimono is their traditional clothing. Also, omiyage are more than souvenirs, which is the rituals when they do businesses. Christmas also is a romantic holiday, and there are queues for your shoes everywhere. Japanese women also used to blacken their teeth, and it's rude to eat or drink while walking. Baseball is also an extremely popular sport in Japan, and chopstick positions have meaning. Next, I'm going to jump into do's and don'ts in Japanese business culture. The do's of Japanese business culture is you have to be on time. You also have to learn about gift giving, which is, like I said just now, omiyage ritual. You also have to pay attention to their hierarchy because Japanese have a high hierarchy. You also have to express gratitude and apologize frequently. Now I'm going to tell you about the don'ts in Japanese business culture. You don't pour your own drink, and you don't decline an invitation to socialize when doing business with the Japanese. You also don't outwardly express your negative emotions, and you don't make excuses. I'm going to jump in now into tips of negotiation in Japanese business culture. First, how do the Japanese negotiate? The Japanese do in fact negotiate, but not in the Arab manner. Face must not be lost, and politeness must be maintained at all times. The Japanese go to incredible lengths to be polite, such as the members of the team may change or increase, as the Japanese wish as many members of their company as possible to get to know you when doing business. They also give and receive business cards using both hands. You have to speak clearly and not too fast of what you are talking about. You also do not straight jump into conclusions, because Japanese ways and our ways of doing things is different. You also don't use slangs or accents when talking to the Japanese. Next, I'm going to jump into the bargaining behaviors in Japanese business culture. As a general rule, bargaining is not the done thing in Japanese business culture. Countless plucky tourists have received nothing but blank stares as they try to negotiate with the staff of even the biggest companies in Japan. However, this can lead to the false impression that bargaining never happens in Japan. Before you bargain in the Japanese business culture, you have to take note on the three main points of the Japanese business culture, which is group spirit, value of friendship, and emotional sensitivity. The first is the Japanese prefer to work as members in group rather than individually. By means of value of friendship, friends are called on in Japan to give help. The more good friends man has, the more secure he feels. friendship is important in Japan, and the Japanese possesses a greater emotional sensitivity than the others. Next, I'm going to jump to the decision making in Japan. To talk about problem solving or decision making within a national environment means examining many complex cultural forces. It means trying to measure the impact of these forces on contemporary life and also coming to grips with changes now taking place. For example, it is broadly taken for granted in the West that problem solving goes hand in hand with the decision making. The decision itself is regarded as a finite act. It is almost if you can isolate it and put it under a microscope and see that it has very definite boundaries and also the characteristics of a particular executive personality. The Japanese will make decisions by their tolerance. The Japanese will make risky decisions if they feel like it could help the group, company or country. They also focus on control. Their decision takes time to finalize. And they also use Ringgit system, it is a bottom-up approach to overcome traditional autocratic decision practice. Next, communication styles in Japanese business culture. The Japanese communication style reflects the value placed on maintaining harmony. The Japanese are non-confrontational and will rarely direct decline requests. Instead, they will reply it is inconvenient or it is under consideration. They do not criticize, insult, put people on the spot or do anything that might cause embarrassment and thus loss of face. When presenting disagreeable facts, they will do so indirectly, making it necessary to read between the lines. For this reason, understanding body language is of paramount importance. In fact, there are books of foreigners that explain and interpret Japanese body language. While many may find it uncomfortable, long pauses are expected during conversation. This usually means that the other person is reflecting on what has been said. It is not necessary to fill the silence with small talk, and you should never interrupt when someone is speaking. Avoid using excessive hand gestures or making quirky facial expressions. The Japanese will cover their mouth or laugh when they are embarrassed. They will smile to maintain self-control. Japanese people also tend to laugh awkwardly when confronted with an uncomfortable situation or when nervous. It is considered polite to say "I'm sorry," "excuse me," or "sumimasen" frequently. Japanese do not consider it rude to ask personal questions such as about a person's material status or to comment on a person's weight. It is important, however, not to ask questions that may cause the respondent to lose face. Like I said, Japanese rely on facial expression, tone of voice, and posture. Staring into another person's eye considered disrespectful in the Japanese business culture. Frowning while someone is speaking is interpreted as a sign of a disagreement. Arigatou gozaimashita. Sayonara and thank you for watching my video. That's all from me. Thank you.